Eminado, 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 Eminado.
Greetings, all you very rare individuals. Welcome to another Afro Scot podcast. This episode is 34. We're going to talk about what African food is great. Specifically, we're going to talk about pounded yam. Now, what is pounded yam? Well, if you're Nigerian, you know that pounded yam is the most delicious, scrumptious food you could ever have, ever. Especially when it's coupled in with egusi soup, obono soup, okra, sometimes stew, if you like it like that. But either way, pounded yam is a great cuisine from Africa. It originates from Nigeria in Boko town in Benue state. Its origins also date back to Osun state too in Nigeria. Now, why do I clearly love pounded yam? Well, there's many instances where I've had pounded yam. For example, when my mother would make pounded yam, and this was something she would make on special days, because making pounded yam isn't an easy task because you have to pound the yams. Pounded yam comes from yams, which is a class of roots and tubers. And in order to get the yams, you have to cut the tubers bark off using a sharp knife. And then once you get the yam, you cut it up. And then you pound it with a mortar and pestle so you can get the pounded yam and get rid of any lumps that are inside the pounded yam. And then at parties, we would cover it with cling film, or we would wrap it with a leaf. And I feel like when you wrap it with a leaf, it actually gives it a better taste. But while using the mortar and pestle to pound the yam, they say that it tastes better when it's pounded with a mortar and pestle. And I believe that's because of the sweat and tears that's put into it. Anything created through love, sweat and tears will always taste good. In Nigeria, there's a thing called the New Yam Festival, where people obviously celebrate yams, and it's celebrated among the Igbos during August and October, and in Kogi State, it's celebrated during June. So clearly, us Africans, we love our food, that we have whole festivals for it. There's even a Jollof Day on the 22nd of August. In Africa, pounded yam at parties is usually covered using cling film in order for air to not enter the pounded yam and for it to get stale and hard. The softer it feels, the better it tastes. And pounded yam is usually eaten using your hands, as you need to literally eat it and dunk it into the soup. Some have tried to use forks, but I believe personally it tastes much better when you use your hands. It's intimate in a way, and I love it with egusi soup. We used to joke a lot back in the days. I remember with my friends about pounded yam and egusi soup. It was sending pictures and stuff like that. So pounded yam is really close to Nigerian culture and African culture, because I don't think there's any African who dislikes pounded yam. It's very similar to things like fufu in Ghana. And around Africa, there's different terms for pounded yams and cassavas and anything that comes from that yam family. Because Africans, we generally like things that can be easily eaten and swallowed. For example, pounded yam is usually called swallow food, similar to eba and moi moi, or something like amala. So I feel like as an African, this is really important to our culture. The whole food aspect of our culture is very important, because it actually makes us who we are, doesn't it? And that is really because nobody else can claim it, can claim that side of us, the food part. because it's clearly native to us. I've introduced people who aren't African to pounded yam, and they always look at it quite strange, but they're always intrigued and curious as to what it would taste like, which is always good for our culture as well. Because I see now that Korean food is eaten quite a lot, and they eat a lot of Japanese food, and you know, even Spanish food, Italian food is ate quite a lot. But African food seems to be a thing people kind of shy away from. But I believe that they should try it. It's an integral part of our culture, and it really makes us who we are. So, by understanding that, it allows us to become full-fledged, focused Afro Scots who love pounded jam.